Good morning, my name's Rachel and this is a scrapbusting tutorial for junk journalists, scrapbookers, paper crafters. I've got a series of tutorials on scrapbusting all around the 5 to 10 minute mark. They're easy to do, ideal for beginners, this is what the tutorial is for today. This is essentially a snippet. I don't know, it's not really a roll because you can't roll it, but it's a snippet, I don't know, snippet band, let's call it that. And the way you can use these in your junk journal is you can cut them and use them as glue them so they're tuck spots. You can turn them into belly bands or horizontal bands. There's lots of things you could do, or you can just cut pieces off and use them as embellishments. So that's what these are for. And this one is one I've made to show you. One of the pieces of scraps I quite often have is loose pages like this from nature books. And what I did was I cut a number of the pieces into squares and rectangles. I turned them into faux stamps, and I then created a collage on the back using papers from my scraps that complemented and matched the colours there. And I really enjoyed making this. I finished it off with zigzag stitches top and bottom. I'm not going to finish the next one off with stitches because you don't have to. It's just something you can do if you have a sewing machine. I also didn't use any distress inks on this one, but if you like things to have a bit more shading, that's something you can do. So the first thing you need for this is you will need to decide what you're going to take your faux stamp images from. And I got this is a fragment that's left from a lovely Victorian puddings piece of wrapping paper, which I found in a charity shop for like 25p. So what I've done is I've already cut a load of the images. I just went for different varieties. Although this is lovely and big, I thought it was too big for a stamp. And the colour scheme here is like greens and like a tan kind of brown and red. So I then raided my scraps and got out different scraps that would match and cut them into strips. This one, I tore them all. So you can always tear them, but I fancy trying something different with this. So that's why a lot of these are in strips. Okay. And I got some brown. This is just simple, as you can see, it's a scrap. I tore it off some packaging from something I received. So these have already stuck down. I used Yoo-hoo glue stick, and now I'm just going to turn them into faux stamps. Now I have here a pair of scallop edge scissors, so when you use them the way you're intended to, I'll use that one, that's the finish you get. However, if you turn them upside down, you then get this kind of effect. So I will show it against a white background in a moment. You get that kind of background, and actually let's use that white piece of paper, and that is a bit more stamp like than the scallop edged ones. So that's how I'm going to finish all these. You can use all kinds of methods for getting edges on these. You can use I go to call them crimping shears all the time, and they're not, they are pinking shears, and you can get the zigzag finish if you wish. Or you can just tear them. You don't even need to use a faux stamp. You can create a frame around these and then just have framed images on your snippet band. There are no rules. I'm just using faux stamps because I really like the look of faux stamps. And if you wish to finish your snippet band off using rubber stamps and ink, if you've got any postage ones, you could always finish them off with postage marks too. Now I have already made a start here. Because I tend to use my snippet bands for relatively sturdy things, I've used a strip of scrap card, and that's what I've done here. If you wanted something to be more flexible and have a bit less bulk, you would use a strip of scrap paper, book page, whatever. So if I just take a couple of pieces here, I don't have any green there. And now I'm just going to finish off this strip. And as you can see, I've cut the strips in different lengths and different sizes, and you can always tear these as you're going along. So some are like from old books, that's from an old origami book, I think that came from a greetings card. These two and that I think were from a craft paper pack, and that again I think was part of a card or something to do with packing. So lots of opportunities with this to use up some of your colourful but smaller scraps. And I try to lay these at different, so they're not all going in like the same on the same line. So if I show you, look, they're all at different staggered points. And I think I would like that one, bit of that one, and do I want a little bit more red? Bit of that one. And I think I already said I'm using Yoo-hoo glue. If you don't have a glue stick or you don't like using glue stick, you can always use double-sided tape for something like this, and that would work just as well. I think we'll have a little bit of music just there. And I don't have a set order or set formula for how I use the scraps or how I place the scraps. I just go with what feels good at the time. And what to put there? I want a little bit of that. A little bit of that. Okay. Lovely. And also I don't like an entirely flat edge, so as you can see this edge, they stick out at different angles. If you like a really symmetrical edge, now would be a good time for you to cut it. And so I'm now going to work out where to place these. I think I'll put that one because it's nice and green and red there. And again, no formula to where I'm going to place these stamps. Relatively regular intervals. Some I'm going to have sticking up above the edge, like there. I've got a white piece of paper, I think, to show that. Sticking up above the edge. Some will be firmly in the middle. I'm looking at the different shapes of my stamps, so I think I'd rather have like those three are quite, that one's quite red, so I think I'm going to pop that one there, and that one there. Okay, and as you can see, very, very simple. This one will take longer than 5 or 10 minutes to do because you have the prep. So you've got the colour matching to do with your bits of scrap, you've got the cutting of that, or the tearing would probably take a lot less time than trimming. So that's something to bear in mind when thinking of that. And we can take ages and ages and ages agonising over what images to use for stamps. So that's something else to watch for, which is why it's good to just take from a single page. Then the artwork is all the same, and you're not then you don't then have a huge pile of scraps and you're agonising about which goes with which. So it then brings the project together somewhat and stops you from spending ages going, oh, that. I could use all those as stamps. Okay, and there you go. So that's that done. That is a very simple snippet band. And now you can finish it off by machine stitching at the top. You could put ink stamps, postal ink stamps along here if you wished. Because I'm not sure what I'm going to use it with, I will leave this plain as I have left that one, because it could well be that then when I decide to cut and place within my journal, it could be that being plain is what I need if I've got other busy aspects on the page, or it could be if I'm just going to use this, say that I'm just going to cut that and have that as a piece on the page, I might then add stamps, add the rubber postage mark stamps, just to make it pop a bit more. So I hope you found that interesting and useful. I'm on Instagram, so if you do have a go at this faux stamp snippet band tutorial, let me know and share some pictures with me. It'd be lovely to see what you do. We've all got such an incredibly diverse amount of scraps. I hope this tutorial will help you bust some. And I hope you have a good rest of the day. Thank you. Bye.